What's up guys, Matthew Monis here, and Sony just announced the brand new Sony Xperia XZ2. This is their latest flagship device that's going to be coming out sometime in the near future. Now here's the big thing, they've completely redesigned the phone. No longer do you have that traditional boxy look that you're used to on past Sony phones. This one has a nice curved back, it's made out of all glass, the bezels have been reduced, and overall it feels much better in the hand. Now, the design is obviously not revolutionary. It pretty much brings their smartphones into 2017 standards. The phone is still a little bit bigger than the Galaxy S8, but it feels just a lot more comfortable to hold. The fingerprint scanner, which was one of my biggest complaints, is now in a great spot. It's on the back of the device, making it very easy to get to for both left-handed people and right-handed users. All the standard stuff you'd expect on a flagship device is present. So you have wireless charging, you have dual SIM, so if you live in a country where you carry two devices, you only have to carry one now. And of course you have water resistance up to IP68, so you can dunk it in water and not worry about your phone breaking on you. The display is 5.7 inches, and Sony went the same way as most manufacturers. It's using the brand new aspect ratio of 18:9, so the screen is taller rather than wider, making it much easier to hold and giving you a little bit more screen real estate. But here's the thing, the screen itself is not AMOLED, so if you're hoping for an AMOLED display, Sony didn't put one on this thing. It is FHD+, it is IPS, and it is a very bright display. Sony makes great LCD panels, but if you've seen the display on the XZ1, this is going to look very familiar. Speaking of familiar is the audio setup. Sony is maintaining the dual speakers, so you're gonna get that beautiful stereo sound, especially when you're not using headphones. Now, the problem is the phone's gonna be a little bit longer, so it's not gonna be as bezel-less, let's say, as the Galaxy S8 or even the LG G6, but it's a nice trade-off to maintain that sound quality. Here's the other thing. There's also a brand new dynamic vibration system. So what this does is basically vibrates the phone every time you're immersed in content. So if you're playing a video game and you're shooting guns, the phone's gonna vibrate. This is not haptic feedback, this is a dedicated chip to predict and perform this vibration mechanism every time you're playing or watching content. Performance is what you're gonna expect. You're gonna get a Snapdragon 845 chip. This is what's gonna be in most smartphones coming out in 2018. And the chip itself offers a lot of great features. So faster connectivity speeds, loading up a web page, the latency is gonna be less compared to last year's chip. You're gonna have 4x4 MIMO, 5CA LTE. It's just gonna be a great chip overall. Software will be using Android 8.0. And Sony's theming is not too bad compared to other smartphone manufacturers who really bog their systems down. It's going to be pretty clean. You're going to have Google now. You're going to have a few Sony apps like the PlayStation app, their theming and stuff like that if you want to customize your experience. But overall, it's going to be super simple and very clean. But what's really interesting is the camera. It's a 19 megapixel motion eye sensor. So probably the same one as the XZ1 with a few tweaks, some software processing, and combining with that Snapdragon 845 opens up a lot more opportunities. For example, this is gonna be the first smartphone on the market that can record 4K HDR video. It hasn't been done before, but we now have the processing power to do it. Of course, it's still gonna have 960 frames per second recording, which was available on the XZ1, but this time, instead of being HD, you can now do it in full HD. You also have the 3D creator, which Sony introduced not too long ago, but before it required two people to create a 3D object. Now you can do this all by yourself. And finally, the battery. There's a 3180 milliamp battery inside, so big enough to get you through the entire day. To put this in context, it's bigger than the battery that's inside the Galaxy S8 and of course the Galaxy S9. You have quick charging to top it up quickly, and of course wireless charging. I also want to mention about the Sony Xperia XZ2 Compact. This is also being released alongside it. The biggest difference is it's a lot smaller, has a full HD display instead of a full HD plus display. The back is really thick, and instead of being glass, the back is polycarbonate. Now this phone pretty much has the exact same features inside, so you're not going to miss too much. It's all about whether or not you prefer a smaller phone or the slightly bigger one. So that wraps up my first impression and hands-on with the Sony Xperia XZ2. Overall, it's a very attractive device, but I feel it's more of Sony playing catch-up rather than introducing something revolutionary and extraordinary. Now, of course, once I get the phone in my hand, I will perform a more extensive review. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And as always, I will talk to you in the next video.